Stephen King bends the knee to the SJWs. Of course, this was something that doesn't surprise me at all. I kind of expected this would be the way that he would go. As soon as he made those original comments where he started going after, people for saying that the Oscars were too white and too male again, and saying, hey, I just judge based on quality. I don't judge based on, diversity or anything like that. As soon as he said that, the SJWs came after him, the woke crowd came after him, the cancel culture came after Stephen King and got him to back down and bend the knee and kiss the feet of the SJWs. Now, he went a step further and he wrote an entire op-ed for, what was it, the Washington Post or something? Yeah, for the Washington Post. He wrote an entire op-ed about basically him just apologizing for the comments that he made and trying to make it up with as many woke points as possible. So, because this is what they do. This is what celebrities do. This is what Hollywood people do. They go out of their way to do anything they can to try to virtue signal to the heavens about how great they are, about how amazing they are, how they push for diversity no matter what. Now, of course, Stephen King does speak to some issues here that I actually agree with, but the way that he's doing it is a way that is very apologetic to the SJWs, which is something that I don't think should ever happen. You should never apologize to these SJWs, especially when you're speaking truth, like he was. Him saying that he judges films based on quality and not diversity should not be a controversial statement. That is exactly what we want our judges to be based in their movies. They're judging on. But of course, Stephen King, of course, has to apologize. Now let's take a look at what he has to say here. In an op-ed for the Washington Post on Monday, the renowned author scolded the recent Academy Award nominations for their lack of racial and sexual diversity, arguing that the whole business is rigged in favor of the white folks. Oh, rigged! It's all rigged! Just like the 2016 election. It was all just rigged for President Trump. Starting out, King addressed the controversy that landed him in hot water earlier this month, in which he tweeted, "I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me to do otherwise would be wrong." And there's nothing controversial about that. That is great. When I did a video right here on this channel about that when he first made those comments, and I was like, that's great, Stick with it, Stephen King. Please don't go back on these comments because you are speaking what everyone needs to hear right here. This is great. Only on quality. That's the only thing that you should be judging movies on. You should be judging everything on quality, not diversity. Okay? And I gave some examples about some really dumb situations as well of what if you based this just on diversity, a marathon or something, let's say I don't know, a black lady didn't beat the white guy in the marathon, but they still gave it to the black lady the trophy because she was a black lady. That would just be completely stupid. And that's what happens when you base things on diversity and not on quality. The hits at King were relentless as accusations of white privilege and whitewashing erupted across his Twitter page. The outrage! How dare you say that you judge on quality and not on diversity? Oh, it's so terrible, right? It's so terrible. I also said, in essence, that those judging creative excellence should be blind to questions of race, gender, and sexual orientation. I did not say that was the case today because nothing could be further from the truth, King wrote on Monday, as reported by The Hill. Has there been progress in the film community? Yes, some, he's continued, which is also, that's something that, no one would dare say either. It's hilarious how these people act like we still live in, the 1850s or something. They don't realize that we have progressed so much as a country. We've progressed to the point where these people can whine when they don't get special treatment, and they don't have to whine anymore about just basic rights, being equal, actually equal. Now they whine about not getting special treatment, which is just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. King blames the lack of diversity among those nominated on the diversity of the Academy's voting members, noting they are only 32% women and 16% minorities. Not good enough. Not even within shouting distance of good enough, King wrote. Of course, he's really flexing his virtue signaling here, isn't he? But just last week, an anonymous Oscar voter told the Daily Beast that the diversity issues among those nominated were overblown when considering the reforms that the Academy instituted following the so-called Oscars So White controversy of 2016. When the Oscars So White backlash happened, we were all thrown under the bus by our own Academy for seemingly being biased, the voter told the outlet. So they added a lot more members, making sure it was diverse. But also, what also came out of that was an extra fringe benefit of youth. Suddenly, an entire group of voters were plugged into social media in a way that the older voters were not. So they did diversify. But because the results of that diversification didn't change the results of what films were nominated, people are still super duper upset. But they can't really blame the Academy anymore because it's a lot more diverse than it was previously, which is hilarious to me. And so now comes this year where the grumblings are happening again, but this time it's harder to throw the Academy members under the bus because we are more diverse now, the voter continued. I think it points to what the other issue was that got buried under the controversy, and that is the need to develop more projects that are richer in roles for actors of color and even stronger directing opportunities for women, which is actually true. That is actually 100% true. The problem is that when you give movies to people of diversity, all it becomes is a way to push some sort of political message. It's not about, trying to tell a good story. And that is the problem with these movies that are made by minorities and women and things like that, is that most of the time, those types of movies are nothing more than just vehicles for political narratives and political agendas. Now, if we can move past that, we can actually get these people to realize that all they need to do is just try to tell a good story, and they probably would have a great chance of winning an Oscar if that's what they really want, then just do that, Don't try to focus so much on your political nonsense. Just focus on trying to tell a good story. Stop trying to victimize yourself. Just go out there, tell a good story. Just, that's simply all you need to do. Just tell a good story, create a good movie, make something worthy of the Oscars, and you probably will do fine. But they can't seem to just get past the fact of politicizing that they politicize minorities and politicize women, and it's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. So yes, I do think that is a big issue that is going on. My overall attitude that, as with justice, judgments of creative excellence should be blind. But that would be the case in a perfect world. And so because this isn't a perfect world, we should go against that, and we should, undermine that. We should, give these awards to people just based on the color of their skin. Is that what you're saying? One, where the game isn't rigged in favor of the white folks. Oh, the white folks. I love how this is literally a white dude talking about this. And it's just so silly to me. It's just so silly. Creative excellence comes from every walk, color, creed, gender, and sexual orientation. It's made richer and bolder and more exciting by diversity, but it's defined by being excellent, which is true. That is actually true. Judging anyone's work by any other standard is insulting, and worse, it undermines those hard-won moments. When excellence from a diverse source is rewarded against it seems all odds by leaving such recognition vulnerable to being dismissed as politically correct. So I kind of get what he's saying here, and I kind of agree with what he's saying for the most part here, where he's talking about, it should still be judged by excellence. And I don't think that it's just rigged for the white people. I really don't. But I do think that Hollywood has rigged minorities and women to be nothing but political tools. Unfortunately, that is the case. Because of that, they are able to keep minorities and women under their power, and they can basically just continue to make them their little victim playthings. And as soon as we can get past that, as soon as, minorities and women can wake up and realize that they don't need to live that way anymore, they can just act like normal human beings and not have to be under this ridiculous notion that's been created by Hollywood, or by a lot of people on the far left for that matter, then, maybe we'll get to a point where they'll start just focusing on trying to simply tell good stories, That's the bottom line of what needs to happen. And you know, it's not just rigged by white people. What a stupid sentence. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. What do you think about what Stephen King is saying here? Do you agree with what he is saying? I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel, Josiah Rises, as well. I would greatly appreciate that. And I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.